Good morning, dear students. A warm welcome to all of you for our today's online session for the subject Science and Technology, Section A. In our previous session, we have completed with the topic of saturated hydrocarbons and unsaturated hydrocarbons. Means hydrocarbons as the basic organic compounds. Let us have a glance at that topic, and our topics for today are the entire information about carbon dioxide gas. Then we are going to study about how carbon dioxide is used in fire extinguisher. Next topic will be about the smallest hydrocarbon, that is methane, and finally we are going to study about the biogas plant. If time permits, we will continue with the discussion of textual exercise. So I request all of you, in this chapter also in many places you will require textbook, because the main experiment, the activity is there in your textbook. And as I have told you, this is a chapter, a theoretical chapter, where most of the compounds have to be remembered by you. Most of the points, they have to be remembered by you. So memory part should be very strong over here. Let us first revise what we mean by hydrocarbons and why they are called as the basic organic compounds. As I have told you in the beginning, along with carbon, the element hydrogen is also included in most of the organic compounds. This is as a fill-up, that element hydrogen is present in dash organic compound. It is not present in all, but most of the organic compounds you will find hydrogen. Hence, the compounds which are formed from only carbon and hydrogen, they are called the basic organic compounds and are called as hydrocarbons. Hydro from hydrogen and carbon. As we have seen, valency of carbon is 4 because its atomic number is 6. So 2 electrons in the first shell and 4 remaining in the second shell. Now, if 4 electrons are added to the second orbit, then you know it will be 2, 8, means its octet will become complete and electronic configuration becomes stable to the nearest inert gas, which is neon, having atomic number 10, and hence the valency of carbon is 4. But does carbon take this 4 electrons? No. What will carbon do? Rather than giving up or taking, it will share the electrons, and in other words we can say a carbon atom can form 4 covalent bonds with other carbon atoms or atoms of different elements. So carbon believes in sharing of electrons. Remember this, because I have told you it is a very important base of a huge chapter in the next year. So when a carbon atom, it shares 1 electron each with, we will take the element as hydrogen, then it will form 4 CH bonds and a methane, CH4, methane molecule, which is the smallest hydrocarbon, it will be formed. Then we have seen the properties of covalent compounds, that they have low melting and boiling points. They are insoluble in water, soluble in organic solvents, and are poor conductors of heat and electricity. They do not allow the heat and electricity to pass through them. Then a very important topic we had seen about saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons. There I have told you that hydrocarbons which have only single bonds between the carbon atoms, they are called as saturated hydrocarbons, and those having a multiple bond, the multiple bond, it can be a double bond or a triple bond, such hydrocarbons are called as unsaturated hydrocarbons. Now our topic for today, the first topic is about the solubility of carbon. The component, the gas which is found around you, or the gas which you exhale out, is carbon dioxide. Let us see through a small activity how carbon dioxide is given out in one of the reactions. Now, we have learnt how to find the molecular mass of any compound in chapter number 4. So the molecular mass of carbon dioxide is 44. Molecular formula you know, CO2. Melting point of carbon dioxide is minus 56.6 degrees Celsius. Now this activity actually it is removed out from the syllabus, but to understand the physical and chemical properties, let us see this activity. Now they have told that in a round bottom flask you have to take calcium carbonate CaCO3, and in that you have to add dilute HCl, that is hydrochloric acid. You have to see that the end of the funnel it dips into the acid. Now in this reaction of calcium carbonate with HCl, carbon dioxide is formed. You can see here carbon dioxide release being a gas. An arrow is shown in the upward direction. Collect this carbon dioxide gas in 4 to 5 different gas jars, and then you have to test its physical and chemical properties. Let us study its physical and chemical properties. When you have collected this carbon dioxide gas in different gas jars, the first test to find the physical property is you have to observe the color of the gas and smell the gas in the gas jar. When you look at the color, carbon dioxide is colorless and odorless, means it has no smell, no color. So this is the physical. Physical means what property appears, you can see. So color, odor. Colorless, it has no smell. Now let us move towards the chemical properties. For the first chemical property or the test of burning candle, they have told you have to remove the lid of any one gas jar, then place a burning candle in it. Remove the lid of a gas jar, and inside that you have to place the burning candle, and you will observe that the flame of burning candle will be put off by carbon dioxide gas. So flame is put off, and hence ahead you will see that carbon dioxide is used in fire extinguishers. Next is about the universal indicator. They have told drop a small amount of a solution of some universal indicator in one of the gas jars filled with carbon dioxide, and then you have to shake it. You will see that the color of the universal indicator it changes to yellow or orange. Third is they have told remove the lid of a gas jar and put some lime water in it. When you add lime water in it, you will see that it turns milky. Now this lime water it turns milky due to the formation of an insoluble precipitate. Next is about water. To test water, they have told in one of the gas jars put some water and shake it. You will see that this carbon dioxide sparingly dissolves in water, forming H2CO3, that is carbonic acid. And when you are testing the gas with blue and red litmus paper, for that you have to moisten both blue and red litmus and then drop them in a gas jar. You will see that moist blue litmus turns red, but no effect on red litmus paper. Blue litmus turns red, but red litmus paper remains unchanged. So these are the physical and chemical properties of carbon dioxide. You have an entire textual question based on it. So remember this table. Those who want, they can enter the readings in your textbook on page number 145. Both these tables are given on page number 145. You can enter the observations on that page. Now let us study some of its other chemical properties. The first chemical property to study in addition to the above is sodium carbonate. This sodium carbonate or Na2CO3, which is commonly known as washing soda, used for washing the clothes, it is formed when carbon dioxide is passed through an aqueous solution of sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide means NaOH. Aqueous solution means dissolved in water. So when carbon dioxide gas is passed through sodium hydroxide, you get washing soda. So see the chemical reaction, 2NaOH plus CO2 gives Na2CO3 plus water. So one more use you are getting here of carbon dioxide, it is used for the preparation of washing soda. Similarly, you get baking soda when you pass this carbon dioxide through an aqueous solution of sodium carbonate. Remember the difference. See, when carbon dioxide is added in an aqueous solution of sodium hydroxide, you get this sodium carbonate, and in the sodium carbonate, in the aqueous state, if you add carbon dioxide, you get sodium bicarbonate, which is known as baking soda. This you are going to study in details in the next chapter, chapter number 14, substances and common use. Baking soda or NaHCO3, it is used for making your foodstuffs like dokla, cakes, very spongy. So see the chemical reaction, Na2CO3, now it is sodium carbonate plus H2O, that is in the aqueous form, plus carbon dioxide gives 2NaHCO3, which is sodium bicarbonate. It is also called as sodium hydrogen carbonate. Both this you have to study, especially the chemical reactions can be asked in the exam. Now let us move towards the very important part where this carbon dioxide is used. Very first, I don't have to tell you, it is used to prepare aerated drinks, cold drink bottles. When you just shake, if you shake this cold drink bottles and you open the lid, you will see the carbon dioxide gas gushing out. Even if you do not shake the bottle, and then slowly if you try to open the lid also, psst type of voice you will get, which is nothing but indicating the release of carbon dioxide gas. Now why this carbon dioxide is used to make this aerated drinks? Because it easily absorbs into a liquid to form this tiny bubbles. At the same time, it is also used as a protective measure because it keeps the soft drinks or the cold drinks fresh, because you are not consuming them very immediately after preparation. But if you have to know about its advantages or disadvantages, then I will say that you can say consumption of such type of cold drinks is very harmful for your health, because the gas which you are exhaling out of the body, carbon dioxide, you know very well, is put out of your body during the process of breathing. That only you are taking inside through these cold drinks. Now you can ask me, the teacher, when the bottle is opened, the carbon dioxide gas goes away, then how it enters your body? 100% gas does not go out. Some part of it is there in your cold drink which enters your body. Next use is solid carbon dioxide, which is known as dry ice. Dry ice. Ice is used in cold storage. You know, if you visit the fish market also, the major part of the fish is stored in ice by the fishermen in small, you can say, boxes, white color thermocol boxes. So this solid carbon dioxide, which is known as dry ice, is used in cold storage and also to keep the milk and milk products and frozen substances cool during transport. Also it is used for getting special effects of a mist in dramas and movies. You have seen this special effect to show the effect of clouds and all. This solid carbon dioxide is used. The next use is carbon dioxide obtained by chemical reaction or kept under pressure is used in fire extinguishers. I have told you that the carbon dioxide which is obtained by different chemical reactions, it is used in fire extinguishers. Liquefied carbon dioxide is used to remove caffeine from coffee. Supercritical carbon dioxide. Here it acts as a solvent absorbing caffeine from your coffee. The very important use it is liquid carbon dioxide is used as a solvent in modern eco-friendly dry cleaning. And last, I need not have to tell you, in the process of photosynthesis, wherein the green leaves of the plant, they take this carbon dioxide from the air and with the help of sunlight, they prepare their food by the process of photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide is consumed, hence it is its use. Apart from this, there are n number of other different uses of carbon dioxide. If you search on the Google net, you can find any other use and you can write it in the exam. Logically and scientifically it should be correct, not necessary. The 6 uses are given in the textbook. This photographs and all I have taken from the Google net only, and hence I tell you it is science and technology. Go through the Google net, search n number of uses you will get. Any other uses which you feel easy, you can write over here. Now let us move towards our next important topic, regular fire extinguisher. Now most of the buildings, even our schools, you have seen fire extinguishers placed on different floors. Now what does this fire extinguisher contain? The main component here is the presence of sodium bicarbonate powder, NaCO3 powder. Also there is dilute sulfuric acid, that is H2SO4, which is placed in a glass capsule. You can see this glass capsule having dilute sulfuric acid. Now this capsule, on pressing the knob, you know how the knob is pressed. This is the knob. This sulfuric acid comes in contact with sodium bicarbonate. When this knob is pressed, you know that when you have to extinguish fire, how the knob of the fire extinguisher has to be pressed. Then this sulfuric acid in the capsule, it will come in contact with this sodium bicarbonate, and the both will react chemically to release carbon dioxide gas. So carbon dioxide gas will be released, and you all know that it is used to extinguish fire. Now such carbon dioxide based fire extinguishers, they do not cause corrosion and are non-conductors of electricity. This you have to remember as a point. Therefore, these are used when electrical and electronic equipment catches fire. Why? Because they are non-conductors of electricity. Such carbon dioxide based fire extinguishers are used to extinguish small scale fire. If the fire is on a large scale, then it is beyond their capacity to extinguish it. In modern fire extinguishers, if you see, liquid and solid carbon dioxide is filled under pressure, and on reduction of this pressure, it becomes gaseous and comes out forcefully through the horn-like hose pipe. So what is the chemical reaction here between the sulfuric acid in the glass capsule and NaCO3? You can see the chemical reaction. 2NaCO3 plus H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid, gives sodium sulfate plus water plus our main component which is required, that is carbon dioxide, which is the main thing to extinguish the small scale fire. And hence we have studied under the uses in our previous slide that the carbon dioxide which is obtained by the chemical reaction. Now here this is not direct carbon dioxide. It is obtained by the chemical reaction between sodium bicarbonate and sulfuric acid. So such carbon dioxide is used in fire extinguishers. Our next very important topic is methane. Methane, in the topic of basic hydrocarbons, you have seen just now, today also I had told you that when a carbon atom shares one electron each with 4 hydrogen atoms, a methane molecule is formed. So we will see where it occurs, what are its physical and chemical properties, and what are its uses. Molecular formula: as a carbon atom is sharing one electron each with 4 hydrogen atoms, the molecular formula is CH4. Molecular mass is 16. You have studied how to calculate the molecular mass. Atomic mass of hydrogen is 1, carbon is 12. So 4 multiplied by 1 is 4 plus 12 comes out to 16. Now the main occurrence is methane occurs in natural gas to the extent of about 87%. Also decomposition of organic matter in the absence of air, that is anaerobic, means in the absence of oxygen. It produces this methane gas. It is present in biogas, it is present in coal mines, and also this methane is known as marsh gas. It can be a give reason. Why? Because this methane is found at the surface of marshy places. You know what are marshy places? Then on heating a mixture of hydrogen and carbon monoxide gases, carbon monoxide means CO. At about 300 degrees Celsius, in the presence of a catalyst, methane gas is obtained, it is formed, and finally the fractional distillation of natural gas, it gives us methane CH4 in the pure form. It can be a direct question. Give two to three places where methane occurs. Next is about the physical properties of methane. In physical properties, you have to learn the things here. That is why I have told you memory part should be strong. Melting point is minus 182.5 degrees Celsius, whereas boiling point is minus 161.5 degrees Celsius. Two good questions for me for MCQ. Okay, and minus sign is very important. If you come running to me that teacher 182.5 is written correctly, and without the negative sign it has no meaning. So take care about the melting and boiling point. Next is like carbon dioxide, it has no color, so colorless gas. Density of liquid methane is less than that of water. It is sparingly soluble in water, and you all know that methane is a gas, so it is in gaseous state at room temperature. About the chemical properties, it is highly inflammable. It burns by reacting with oxygen to give a bluish flame. 213 kilocalories per mole of heat is given out. Methane burns completely. The chemical reaction you can see CH4 methane reacting with oxygen giving carbon dioxide, water, and large amount of heat is released. Next you can see a chemical reaction written over here. CH4 plus Cl2 gives CH3Cl plus HCl. Methane and chlorine gases, this is methane, this is chlorine. Methane and chlorine gases, they react with each other at a high temperature of about 250 degrees Celsius to 400 degrees Celsius in the presence of UV light. So you can see on the arrow light is written, and they form mainly methyl chloride CH3Cl and hydrogen chloride HCl. This reaction is called as chlorination of methane. Why chlorination? You can see here, this is methane CH4. One hydrogen is removed and one chlorine is added over here. So it becomes CH instead of 4 CH3Cl. This hydrogen goes here plus HCl. So one Cl is been taken here in the place of H. So it is called as chlorination of methane because chlorine is added to methane. Next is about its uses. The first, in the form of natural gas used in different industries like paper mills, food processing industry, petrol purification industry, and in the beginning only I had told you it is the smallest hydrocarbon. Being the smallest hydrocarbon, the proportion of carbon dioxide released in the combustion of methane is small, and hence it is used as a domestic fuel, a very important use. Also, it is used in the production of different organic compounds such as ethanol, methyl chloride, methanyl chloride, acetylene, etc. All these names you remember because in details you have to study about them in the next year, that is the 10th standard. Now this methane gas, it was actually discovered by the Italian scientist Volta between 1776 and 1778 while he was just studying the gases which were found in the marshy land. Our next very interesting topic to end our chapter is biogas plant. You have heard about it. Now in the biogas plant, animal dung, dry leaves, wet garbage, they get decomposed by anaerobic microbes. Anaerobic microbes means the microbes which do not require any oxygen. All this they are decomposed in the biogas plant, and this produces methane gas which is also called as biogas. You all know today the pollution is increasing at an alarming rate, and also there is a tremendous pressure and strain on the uses of your non-renewable reserves like coal, petroleum, etc. And hence to reduce the stress on them, this biogas or methane is used on a large scale as a domestic fuel, and its requirements are also very you can say common. the ones which reduce your pollution, like dry leaves, animal dung, which are the wastes, which are of no use. They are used to produce this biogas, and hence especially in the rural areas, the production of this biogas is really increasing. Now, this biogas is a very cheap fuel option which meets the demand for cooking gas. It is also used for production of an electricity. It contains about 55 to 60% of methane, and the remaining is carbon dioxide. Now, biogas is a fuel which is convenient to use, and in addition to this, a very good manure is also produced as a side product of this process. You can see here, this is the biogas plant. Here you can see dung and water mixture. This is the inlet chamber. This is the outlet chamber. Here you can see the underground digester tank. So whatever you can add, the waste, the animal dung, the dry leaves and all, but after the process, whatever you get is a very, you can say, eco-friendly, and farmers, you can say, they love it, biogas, especially in the rural areas, and it really meets the demands of the fuel in the market. Now, this biogas production process, it includes two steps. First is the production of acids, and second is methane gas production. The microbes, the anaerobic microbes, they act on the biodegradable complex organic compound, which is nothing but this animal dung or dry leaves, and they produce different organic acids. The methanogenic bacteria act on the organic acids and they produce methane gas, which is nothing but the biogas. CH3COOH, acetic acid, gives methane, plus the remaining, as I have told you, is carbon dioxide. With this, we complete with the discussion of chapter number 13, carbon, an important element. Now, still a little bit of time is remaining, so we will just start with the discussion of textual exercise. Let us at least complete question number 1, which is a question of objectives. So I request all of you to be ready with your textbook. Page number 149, textual exercise question number 1. Select the proper option and complete the statements. Different options are given to you. A carbon atom forms a dash bond with other atoms. You have studied that properties of covalent compounds. Carbon atom, it forms a covalent bond, and in this bond the two atoms, they share electrons. Second, fill up all the carbon bonds in a saturated hydrocarbon. They are seen to share electrons. At least one carbon bond in an unsaturated hydrocarbon is multiple. You know that for a hydrocarbon to be unsaturated, either the bond should be a double or a triple bond, means a multiple bond. Dash is the essential element in all the organic compounds, carbon. And the element hydrogen is present, I had told you today, in most organic compound. If you see in many of the digests, they have given all, which is wrong. It is not present in all the organic compounds. If you refer your textbook on page number 143, very first line they have given to us, that hydrogen is included in most organic compounds and not in all the organic compounds. Here question number 1 gets over. In our next session, we will continue with the discussion of textual exercise. We will complete the textual exercise in next session. I will provide you with the additional questions for this chapter, and towards the end we will be discussing the activities. So I request all of you, before you attend the next session, at least go through the textual questions. Whichever you can attempt on your own, try to get the answers, and then you can verify with my answers. So you will only be very happy. Thank you, dear children.